We're back.
Rocks.
Hi, everyone's back. Here we are.
Coming back.
You know, I tried to get this meeting started right after I signed off before, but it wouldn't let me because I guess I was the host, even though I signed, it said that I had to wait till the meeting finished or something. So it gave me like a little countdown, started again. So we might have that same issue for the next meeting, just to let you know.
I was talking to Lebanon today, and they're using Skype. No, I'm sorry, Groton City. They're using Skype for their meetings.
So at 6:45, this is Councilor Solms. I'm calling this special meeting of the Ledyard Town Council Finance meeting to order. Presidents are Councilor Solms, Administrative Assistant Roxanne Marr, Day Reporter Amanda Hutchinson, Council Member or Committee Member Councilor Andra Ingalls, Mayor Fred Allen, Councilor Dombrowski, Chairman Davis, Chairman McGrattan, Councilor Washington, and Councilor Sibilia. And absent is Tom Malone, Councilor Tom Malone. So we have one item on the agenda, and I just have a question about it, and that is what dollar amount to put in the grant application. So I'm hoping somebody can help me answer that.
So I spoke to Scott Johnson today, the Senior Center Director, and a new 14-passenger van with the wheelchair lift, sorry, and seating for two wheelchairs in the back is projected to be $70,000. So if we were to do the 80-20 federal grant, we're looking at $15,400 as the town's share, of which we can use the residual funds from the sale of the oldest of the two vans now, and that number is projected to net us $4 to $7. So 15.4, and then we can get $4 to $7 for the oldest one.
Yep. Okay. So thank you for that, Mayor. I will make the motion then to authorize the mayor to submit a grant application in the amount of $70,000 for the town of Ledyard to receive. This is confusing.
It should be, wait, Fred, could you tell us the name of the grant? It should say to authorize the mayor to submit a grant application.
Yeah, it's the Federal Transportation 5310.
Okay, so it should say motion to submit a grant application to the Federal Transportation, whatever you said, for the town of Ledyard to receive up to $70,000 to purchase a van for the senior center.
Oh, got it. Okay. And do I need to mention it also in the motion that there is a matching dollar amount?
Yeah, we should say in addition, do you want to appropriate whatever that dollar amount is, Fred, or appropriate up to, what is it, 20% of the sale price from that CNR account?
Yeah, that's fine, and include, and upon the sale of the 2009 van, we need to reappropriate those funds as well.
So we're going to appropriate the proceeds from the sale of the van.
Yeah, the proceeds of the sale of the oldest van will go back into that same CNR account.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So this
Fred,
is getting
give me the name of that.
Sorry.
Fred, can you give me the name of that grant again?
Yeah, it's a Federal Transportation Fund 5310. And it is administered locally through the Council of Governments.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to read it out. I'm not making the motion yet. I just want to make sure I get it right. It's a $70,000 van, the $15,400 town share, residual from the sale of the 2009 van, approximately $4,000 to $7,000. It's a Federal Transportation 5910 grant administered locally by the COG. And there was one more part. And the funds to come from.
We have in the last two van grant rounds, we have drawn it from undesignated, capital undesignated.
Yep. Okay, so I move to authorize the mayor to submit a grant application in the amount of $70,000 from the Federal Transportation 59 program administered locally by COG funds, by the Council of Governments, for the town of Ledyard to receive, again, $70,000 to purchase a van for the senior center, and to retain residual funds from the sale of the 2009 van. Sale proceeds expected to be $4,000 to $7,000, and the $15,400 town share to come from from capital undesignated fund. We presently have approximately $350,000 balance in that.
That was the motion.
That was the motion.
Second, this is Counselor Ingalls. I second it.
Okay, so go ahead, Fred.
I was going to say, Scott has just jumped on with us too. Scott, I don't know if you want to give a very brief background on this and what you have done since you came aboard with us.
Yeah, sorry, having computer issues. I'm on my phone now because nothing's showing up on the laptop.
Okay.
We haven't applied for the grant since probably 2012. So both of our vans are actually out of their useful lifespan. I was able to talk to the DOT today, and they will have this grant cycle and then the next grant cycle next year. And then they don't know if they're actually it's gonna have to go through legislation to get either renewed or replaced by something else. So this could be one of the last two chances we possibly have to get a van through this grant. And then we're also worried about if we wait till next year, they go off the census data. So we actually have the money allocated for our area of the state currently to apply for a van. So we don't know what will happen with the change in the census data. But we're looking like, I'm able to get an exact number because the van company hasn't answered their phone and they don't have a voicemail. But it looks like the version we'd want is like $70,000 to $72,000. But then they also say to account for a 2 to 3% increase for next year's model. We wouldn't get the van until next year anyways, but both those vans are out of their useful life. So we should definitely, apply for this grant. It's been a very long.
Scott, wasn't it as much as 5 years out of their projected service cycle, understanding that we typically keep them longer anyway, but aren't we a ways out?
Yeah, both of them are out. One's a 2009 and one's a 2013. So they're both past their what they call the useful lifespan within the grant, which is actually making it a little difficult because once it's out of the grant period of that 5 years, you don't have to keep the data anymore. So actually, me and Steve are like scrambling to get all the maintenance plans and everything because we haven't been able to find the original application from 2012.
And understanding, of course, that the useful life, as we know it, is different than the useful life for a van load of seniors.
Yeah, I mean, you want to risk it with the seniors because you're in July and the van breaks down with 90-degree heat. That could be a big issue.
Right.
So try and cycle them through every 5 years to ensure that they're in working order.
Okay, and I was actually one of the people from the COG last year that vetted the applications, and because we compete with the likes of Easter Seals and other larger van users like Generations up in Willimantic, we would have been on the outside last year for the grant. So we don't know that we will be. We don't know that we'll have the opportunity this year, but my concern is that with the amount of money that the federal government has had to put out this year, I could see them changing these grant programs in the future, and the 80-20 could look vastly different.
Yeah, I did reach out to the DOT today, and luckily the funds are based on the previous year. So we're currently using fiscal year 2019 funds to fund this grant, and then the next cycle will be fiscal 20 funds that will fund the next cycle starting next year. But she also mentioned that these are the last 2 cycles of this grant, and it would have to get renewed in legislation to continue.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to read the motion again. I cleaned it up a little bit, and I realized it was pretty jumbled, so I'm going to read it again. I hope it's...
Bill,
Yeah.
Bill, check your email. I just sent you the motion.
Oh, you did? Okay. I just typed it up. All right, hang on. Okay, so the motion says, motion to authorize the mayor to submit a federal transportation fund 5310. I thought it was 5910.
No, 5310.
Okay, 5310 grant application in the amount of $70,000 to purchase a handicap accessible van for the Ledyard Senior Center. In addition, appropriate up to 15,000. Was it 15.1 or 15.4, Fred?
15.4.
Okay.
$15,004. That's right.
Go ahead.
$15,400 from CNR undesignated to provide the required local share to purchase the van. And further, upon the sale of the 2009 van, appropriate the proceeds to CNR undesignated. A little more on this. At Finance, we discussed this last week, and Councilor Ingalls had some very good questions. Our oldest van has 91,000 miles. Our newest van has 51,000 miles. Neither one of us, I think none of us, consider those to be high mileage, even though they are technically end of useful life. But as the mayor mentioned, and as Scott mentioned, for all the reasons that we're transporting seniors, it changes things a little bit differently. But we did have some questions about the total amount of this thing and the mileage on both vehicles. So, you guys ready? Well, Andra, are you ready to vote? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
I vote aye.
And Councilor Sons votes aye. Motion passes with 1 absent. And with that, I will close this meeting at 6:58 with no exception. Thank you very much.
See you at the next stop.
Right.
See you at the next one.